Hello and welcome to Balfour Meagher. Today in this session I want to quickly talk about positions in negotiation, because any negotiation going into a contract where it becomes legally binding becomes very important to make sure as far as possible that you're in the most win-win position that you can be. But when you go into a negotiation, there can be a really high charge of emotion that ties with it. And if you even think about going to an auction, if you've ever been to an auction, you may have had no intent to buy that item, but as soon as you realise how cheap it is, you put your hand up and suddenly you're now bidding. And then of course someone else puts up their hand, so you put your hand up and you're getting into this bid win because you have this emotive stance and you now want to win. Therefore, you end up winning. You've bought something, you paid so much for it, something you didn't actually need or even thought about having, and you may not use. So to get rid of this or decrease this emotional content that you might be taking into the negotiation, we recommend that you think and pre-plan your negotiation considering 3 different positions. See, first you have to be very clear on what you want. We call this your target position. This is effectively your ideal position that you would be coming out of the negotiation with. The second one is your acceptable position. We call this your compromise position. These are the things that you've thought through from your target position, what you would give up, what you would actually change, what you would accept and still go into an agreement. And the last one is your walkaway position. These are the non-acceptable clauses. And when you go into a negotiation and you're thinking through your target, your acceptable and your walkaway position, you're actually in a good headspace. That means you know exactly when you're going to be walking away from the contract, not that you will, but it gives you the ability to understand at what criteria, what things would get you across the line compared to what things would actually move you away from an agreement position. And therefore, when you're in there and you're far more emotionally stable, you can then effectively take your hat off and put their hat on and start thinking about what's the win-win for them. And of course, once you're in your acceptable position compared to their acceptable position, there's a point there that you've actually got a win-win point. And therefore, you can walk away knowing that you've actually been able to achieve a good result for both parties involved.